Hey YouTube, it's Mike with Kane's Autograph. Welcome back to the channel. If you're into through the mail autographs, you're in the right place. This week we've got 20 TTM returns from baseball and football. Just kind of a side note, this is not part of the team challenge, so no Minnesota Twins in this video. If you're wanting to see who's signing for the Twins, check out my other video. I'll leave a link in the description. So let's get into it. Former quarterback and head coach June Jones returned 2 of 2 cards in 46 days. Before his coaching career, he played quarterback in the NFL for the Falcons and the Oilers. He is one of the guys who came up with the run and gun offense. Next up, a 3 of 3 return in 14 days from Laurent Legros. In the 72 American League Championship Series, Legros was involved in an infamous moment when he hit Bert Campaneris of the Oakland A's with a pitch. Campaneris had been tearing it up that game with 3 hits, 2 stolen bases. When he got drilled in the ankle, he didn't take it well. Campaneris threw his bat, leading to a bench clearing brawl. Billy Martin was with the Tigers then, and you can imagine Billy. He got all fired up, and you can check that out on YouTube, and you'll see him holding Billy back. Bob Gagliano, 2 of 2 return in a fast 19 days. Bob had a career as an NFL quarterback for several teams, including the Lions and the Chargers during the 80s and early 90s. In 1989, Bob led the Detroit Lions to 5 consecutive victories to conclude the season. This was the first time the franchise had achieved such a streak since 1970. Bob Windsor got back to me in 9 quick days with a 2 of 2 return. Bob played tight end for the NFL for the 49ers and the Patriots in the late 60s through the mid 70s. One of the things he's remembering for in Patriots history is scoring a game-winning touchdown against the Vikings in 1974. Thing that made it legendary, he powered through multiple defenders to get in the end zone, had a season-ending knee injury in the play, literally giving everything he had to get that touchdown. I was really happy to get Bryan Harvey back in 72 days. So for some reason, every time I've sent to Bryan before, it just never worked out. Either I would not get a return or I would just get my cards back and he hadn't signed them. And I know he's been a good signer for other people, but he was just that one guy for me. We couldn't connect. Bryan was one of the most dominant closers of baseball in the early 1990s. He made his major league debut with the California Angels in 1987 and quickly became their shutdown reliever. He made it to the All-Star game 2 times, led the American League in saves in 1991 with 46. Here's kind of a twist though. In 1993, he became the first closer in Major League history to be selected in the expansion draft, joining the Florida Marlins. Scott Holman returned 2 of 2 cards in 15 days. Scott made just 4 starts for the New York Mets back in 1982, but he made a big impression. He had a 2.36 ERA, threw a complete game, and struck out 21 batters in just 26.2 innings. For a brief moment, like he looked like he might be the new superstar coming. Injury shortened his career, and he was never really quite the big pitcher that the Mets were hoping for. A football return in 25 days from Terrence Small. Terrence played 11 seasons in the NFL as a wide receiver, and he played for the Saints, the Rams, the Colts, the Eagles, and the New England Patriots. Kind of a cool fact is he caught 24 career touchdowns, and in 1999 he had one of his best seasons with the Philadelphia Phillies, having 655 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, and just being that steady presence that they needed. Cory Spangenberg returned 2 cards in 126 days. Spangenberg is a utility player known for his speed, hustle, ability to play all over the field. In 2011, he was drafted 10th by the San Diego Padres. He made his big league debut in 2014 and played 5 seasons with the Padres before joining the Brewers. In his first game, he hit a walk-off single, so talk about a good first impression. Jarris McFall, 2 of 2 return in 15 days. Jarris played running back and kick returner in the NFL from 1996 to 1999, primarily with the Dolphins and the Lions. He was drafted in the 5th round of the 1996 NFL draft out of East Carolina University, where he was known for his explosive playmaking. In his rookie season, he made a quick impact, averaging 9 yards per catch and returning both kicks and punts for the Dolphins. A 2-2 return from Mark Lowe, former Ranger, a right-handed relief pitcher who played for the Rangers from 2010 to 2012. He is part of the team during their World Series runs in 2010 and 2011. Over his 11-year career, he also played for teams like the Mariners, Angels, Indians, Blue Jays, and Tigers. I really like some of these older cards, and I think after the team challenge, I'm going to focus on getting some of these older cards signed. Eddie Watt, a 3-3 return in a quick 7 days. He was a key part of the Orioles bullpen during their dominant run in the late 60s, early 70s. He pitched in the big leagues from 1966 to 1975, primarily with the Orioles before finishing his career with the Phillies. Um, Kind of a cool fact, he pitched in 3 World Series in 1969, 1970, and 71, and he racked up 80 career saves at a time when closers weren't considered the specialists they are now. A 17-day return from Jackie Moore, 2-2. Jackie was a catcher, later became a longtime coach and manager. He didn't play very long in the majors, but he was part of the Rangers coaching staff during their first ever World Series appearance back in 2010. This next one I think is a great looking card. I'm really happy with how it turned out. A 101 return in 17 days from Gorman Thomas. He was one of the most feared power hitters in the late 70s, early 80s, best known for his time with the Brewers. He led the American League in home runs twice in 1979 and 1982, and he's a huge part of that 1982 team that went all the way to the World Series. Former Tiger and Ranger Steve Falcote returned 2-2 in 9 days. Steve once had an impressive streak, 11 consecutive saves in 1974 for the Rangers, showing that he was a reliable bullpen. Ron Brand returned 2 of 2 in 9 days, and he was kind of a unique player. He could play both the catcher and infield positions. How many catchers can go out there and play shortstop? Not many. Third baseman for the Oakland A's, Wayne Gross, returned 2 of 2. And Wayne had a great rookie season back in 1977 when he was selected as an All-Star, his only All-Star appearance, but he made it count with a solid season at the plate. Dick Bossman, 2 of 2 in 17 days. And Dick threw a no-hitter in 1974 for the Cleveland Indians. And here's kind of a wild part. He almost had a perfect game. The only base runner he allowed was due to his own throwing error. Here's kind of a unique guy, Scott Ruskin, 2 of 2 in 17 days. Scott had a solid career. It wasn't super long. One of the things that makes him unique, though, is he was drafted by the NBA. That's right. So before baseball, he was picked by the Washington Bullets in the 1987 draft. So think about other people who've been both drafted in baseball and basketball. Danny Ainge, and he had a short baseball career, but he went on to play basketball. And then Dave Winfield, and he chose baseball, and he ended up in the Hall of Fame. Here's a player from that 1969 Miracle Mets team, J.C. Martin, 2 of 2 in a fast 18 days. So Martin's key role in that Miracle Mets World Series, in Game 4, he laid down a walk-off bunt in the 10th inning. He's running the first, the ball hit him in the arm, which was technically outside the base path, but no interference was called. Winning run scored, and it was one of the most talked about moments of that magical Mets run. And then one of the longest returns of the week was from Al Toon, and he returned one of the 2 cards that I sent signed in 157 days. He was a standout wide receiver from the Jets from 1985 to 1992. He was drafted 10th overall in 1985 out of Wisconsin. He became one of the most reliable and a really unique route runner. He led the AFC in receptions in 1988 with 93 catches. He was in the Pro Bowl 3 times. Pretty solid career. Thing about him is he had multiple concussions cutting his time in the NFL short. He finished with 517 receptions, which was the Jets franchise record at the time. So that's it for this week's mail day. 20 returns and some awesome additions to the collection. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let me know in the comment who was your favorite return from this week, or drop your best TTM success this month. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching.